Some surprising news came out this weekend. Former middleweight champion Israel Adesanya pleading guilty to drunk driving. And here's the thing, this happened before the fight with Sean Strickland. So very surprising news here, about 3 weeks before. I'll just read the report here from ESPN, the original report from the New Zealand Herald. You can say that Adesanya was driving with 87 milligrams of alcohol per 100 milliliters of blood per his team. The legal limit in the country is 50 milligrams. Adesanya then releasing a statement saying, "I want to apologize to the community, my family, my team for the decision I made to get behind the wheel of drinking at a dinner. I'm disappointed with my decision to drive. I know I was wrong. I know that people might follow me, and I want them to know I do not think this behavior is acceptable." So apparently he was driving home, and this was a couple weeks before the fight with Sean Strickland, which he ended up losing by decision. Yeah, it said the incident happened August 19th. So yeah, before the Strickland fight here. Couple things. First and foremost, no one should drink and drive. In this day and age, there's Ubers, there's all types of stuff. He's got money. There's no reason why he should have been driving that night. So just right off the bat, just an absolute bonehead move on Adesanya's part. Number two, if it wasn't obvious already, it's pretty obvious now. Adesanya did not take this fight seriously enough. And that's not to say that Sean Strickland didn't deserve the win. I think if Adesanya was at his best, I think Strickland still would have beat him. Strickland had a better game plan. I think the entire team overlooked Sean Strickland. And that's why Strickland won. So, but still, I mean, this is just like, it's surprising, honestly. Like, I know Adesanya's had some issues outside the cage as well, but, drunk driving, this is the type of stuff that we see with John Jones. This is the type of, bad behavior that we see. And, if you're Israel Adesanya, I mean, things could not be worse right now. You've lost the title. You've lost, 2 of your last 3 fights here. And now you're, there's, and obviously an issue here where he's, drinking and driving. I just think the whole look is bad here. And, you hope for a redemption story here from Adesanya because things are not looking so hot right now. I'm honestly surprised. Like, again, Adesanya's been in the UFC for a while. I know once you become champion, once you get a lot of money, there's certainly temptations there. But something like drinking and driving, I'm very much against this. How many people have been killed by drinking and driving? I'm not going to get on like a huge soapbox here, but just in this day and age, there's really no excuse to drink and drive when there's so many different options: taxi, Uber, Lyft, whatever, doesn't matter. And the fact that he was even drinking this much during camp is just crazy too. Cause again, you're defending your title. I don't know. I just was under the assumption that most fighters, when they're getting ready for a big fight, you're probably not drinking alcohol. You're probably not smoking up. You're probably not doing a lot of different things because you're getting ready for a title fight. So that's where, again, I don't think he took this fight that seriously. And another thing that I'm sure we're going to see when he does fight again is this will now be an excuse. Oh, I wasn't taking it seriously. If I was at my best, I would have beat Strickland. No, I think Strickland deserves his win here. It's just crazy that he's drinking during camp and making bad decisions like this. What if he got in an accident? What if he hurt someone before this fight? I mean, think of all the hurdles that the UFC went through to get this fight to happen, right? With Dracus du Plessis being out and then trying to get Sean Strickland over to Australia with his visa and all that different stuff. This could have been a lot worse. So, thankfully no one got hurt in this situation, but just, yeah, really, really bad look here for Israel Adesanya. Let's have a quick look at his record here. I mentioned it there. He has lost now 2 of his last 3 fights. And, you can see there, knocked out by Pereira, lost to Strickland in a fight where he's heavily favored. Things are not looking good for Adesanya. He's really, there's got to be a redemption story here. He's got to overcome all this, but I'd really like to know why he, was even drinking during a fight camp. I just don't think that's a really good idea here. And I wonder if the UFC is going to do anything, right? Because again, he represents the UFC. If you're getting in trouble like this, it's not a good look. Although saying that, there's been other fighters. I mean, didn't Tony Ferguson get a DUI and then they booked him against Bobby Green a couple months later? So it seems like it's something with the UFC that they're not very, strict on when it comes to things like this happening. But yeah, I think the biggest thing here is let's hope this doesn't happen again. If there's any lesson to be learned here, people do not drink and drive. It's just bad news. You don't need to. Like I said, there's a million different options out there. And I'll be curious to see what happens next. Again, we have not heard any word yet on what is happening here with the middleweight title. Is Sean Strickland going to fight Dracus? We know it's not Jared Cannonier. Jared Cannonier, as we know, we found out last week, is going to be fighting Roman Dolidze. It's pretty much, wait to see what happens with Khamzat Chimaev and Paulo Costa, Dracus or Israel Adesanya. I've said this before. I don't think Adesanya deserves the rematch. He just won the title back. Then he loses again. And in a decisive fight, it wasn't close. It wasn't a fluke knockout. He clearly lost the fight. He should not be getting a rematch at this point with Sean Strickland. I think they should do Adesanya and Chimaev. If Chimaev beats Costa, you do that fight. You get the big matchup anyways, and then get Strickland to fight Drakus. I think that's the big thing here. But not much more to say other than, again, if anyone's watching this, don't drink and drive. That's like the big thing here. So many lives have been lost by people just making bad decisions like this one. And yeah, it's going to be, it hasn't been a good year for Israel Adesanya, that's for sure. Year and a bit, I should say, with all this stuff going on. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think the UFC is going to do anything? I don't think they will. You think this jeopardizes any sort of rematch with Sean Strickland and Israel Adesanya? Just let me know your thoughts on this. And what was your surprise level? I was pretty surprised here. Again, I know Adesanya's had a few things outside the cage that has been well documented of things that have happened, but something like this, it's pretty bad. It's a bad look, right, on everyone. Him getting caught with the DUI and pleading guilty, like it's not even like he's disputing it. It is absolutely going to happen here. And I mean, we'll have to see what the law is. They didn't add this in the ESPN report. I should mention this, but actually, yeah, they did. The maximum penalty for drunk driving charge is 3 months of jail time or almost a $3,000 fine. Sorry, should probably mention that part before we're wrapping up this video here. So you can see there, 3 months of jail time, almost a $2,600 fine or whatever. I don't think he's going to get the full charge. I mean, we'll see. Maybe he gets jail time here, but I'm not a legal expert, obviously. That's why I'm doing this here. But, you know, usually when it's like notable celebrities, and in this case with Adesanya, they usually, it seems like they get off. So he'll probably just have to pay the fine. But if someone was hurt, something happened here, then yeah, he probably is getting jail time. So I don't know if he's going to get, maybe I need a lawyer on here. That would probably be better. And someone who specifically deals in laws that are happening in New Zealand, because they'd know better than everyone. But in general, a DUI, like in Canada, for example, I know if you get a DUI in the United States, I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to come to Canada. That's like a rule they have. So that's one thing to sort of consider here about, you know, everything that's gone on here with all that. But yeah, he's 34 now. Like, it's not like Adesanya is young either. And this happening at this stage in his career is not good. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a bit of a setback here because, you know, again, if he's having to deal with this legal stuff, that's probably impacting camp. That's impacting, you know, the ability for him to get another fight here. Although it does, I mean, the rest of the year is pretty much set as far as fights go. So if he was going to fight again, it's going to be next year. And we got to sort of remember that as well. So yeah, just really bad news here from Israel Adesanya, this happening. And, you know, I'm not trying to harp on him too much here, but again, you know, anytime a fighter does this, it's a bad look on the UFC. It's a bad look on the, you know, fans of Israel Adesanya fans in general. You don't want to see people doing this. And like, there just really is no excuse here for that type of behavior to happen when you've got, you know, again, so many different options, and he's got money. Like he could hire a driver to take him around. Really, he could. I mean, he's got good endorsement deals and stuff. I know he's not the champion now, but I mean, you got to think Adesanya's got a bit of money here. Hire a driver, get someone else to you know, take you around here. And again, I think this just kind of leads to the overall thought of that he didn't take any of this seriously. Like, again, you should not be drinking heavily during camp. I mean, maybe one drink, I don't know, but if I'm in fight camp, I'm probably not drinking at all because, again, you want your body to be optimal. Alcohol is poisoning. At the end of the day, however you look at it, it's poisoning your body. So you shouldn't be been doing this stuff. So anyways, let's try this again. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. What do you think is going to happen, Adesanya? Do you think this impacts the rematch? I mean, no one, I'd say a majority of people do not want to see the rematch anyways. They feel like Adesanya should have to fight someone else and Drakus should get the shot. Yeah, just let me know in the comments what you think of all this. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @LynchOnSports. I'll talk to you guys soon.